but the Ministry of Agriculture has conducted a baseline needs assessment in order to understand the extent to which Guyanese coastal farmers have access and use of climate information that is issued by Hydromet Department. The farmers predominantly rely on traditional knowledge as opposed to climate information produced by Hydromet.
Farmers do work with the moon to plant seeds and so on.
Yes, the phase of the moon.
They use the phase of the moon.
Yeah, like a couple days after full moon or new moon, you expect some showers.
When you light up night time, you might see cockles and fly. Well, you know when they come.
Cockle and fly.
And
follow the flight every rain.
I normally walk with
I have always been in the country and we grow culturally how we grandfather used to do it and stuff. I think that's our problem.
There is very little trust among farmers and some government stakeholders on the quality of information provided by the Hydromet Department.
Caracas and in Guyana and Nassau and in Brazil, right? I might come to a conclusion you might be reading Guyana. You can't look around what to do. Can you look at the local television station like Channel 16 and you look at the dam, you get a report? They say rain, and when you look at it, you might see rain like 3 weeks from now.
Whatever information they're coming up with must be accurate so that the farmer cannot lose confidence in them. Because at present, the farmer is losing confidence in Hydromet Doppler tower information. As I said earlier, they just look at BBC News and they feel safer to work with information that they get from there through the readings for Brazil and Venezuela, which are our neighboring countries.
They mostly depend also on information being distributed to them or being reached to them through the BBC News, CNN, rather than using some of their local information which Hydromet produced.
Despite the availability of climate information targeting farmers does not tend to reach them.
I think we never really look at it. We know well there's a dry period, there's a wet period, but if just in case during the wet period we get a longer period of dry season, then we just go with the flow. We don't work with those information.
So
you can get a workshop like this, you can get courses here with the information to be good.
There are a number of tools we can use. We can use the mass media in terms of television, we can use cell phones, we can use radio, we can use leaflets. But it's important to recognize that there are gaps because many farmers do not have access to some of these equipment. Some of them may be in the background when these informations are being communicated and they may not be in a position to hear what is being communicated to them. By way of cell phones, yes, you can use SMS messaging to get to some of them. Some of them just have the ordinary type of cell phones. Then again, also there may be gaps in terms of towers because some of the areas may be dark areas and farmers may not have connection to the national grid in terms of having information that is coming from HQ or from the hydrometeorological office.
The existing climate information is not tailored to the farmer's needs.
I think the technicians, they are not qualified enough to really source the information or read the equipment to come up exactly with what the farmer needs or the type of information that the farmer needs for planning within the next 3 months, what type of crop or what to expect in the next 3 months.
Some of the gaps regarding Hydromet dissemination of information to the farming communities. We're very interested is Hydromet has all the necessary information. The problem with this information is the information is not being filtered down to farmers in Guyana and farming communities.
The information in the available form of communication is highly technical for both extension officers and farmers.
And the thing is, how much of us, if some of the extension officers, they don't understand the Hydromet calendar.
We found that the information is there. Hydromet produced a yearly calendar However, the information need to be simplified in order for the farmers to interpret what the information is saying.
Having said this, the following findings are identified as positive. Significant amounts of information with high forecasting accuracy are readily available, such as farmers' bulletins, Hydromet's calendar, and website. There is a system in place to deliver the climate information to farmers, especially through the network of extension and field officers.
We have a very serious mandate in terms of getting the information to the farmer in a timely manner. So Extension Service in whole plays a major role in the dissemination of this information to the farmer.
NARI has one of the largest extension units in the country, and it feeds back to most of its information that NARI has will feed back through the extension arm to the farmers.
Most farmers interviewed are aware of the importance of the climate information and are willing to apply available information in their farming planning and activities.
Based on the needs assessment that we carried out, some of the findings we unearthed are that this information, climatic information, is very important for farmers, and they do see the need for the use of climatic information.
We are very slow to learn, and we don't want to adopt new methodology and follow technology, and that's where we suffer, because we learn this way. For example, we know at August you get dry weather. It don't happen like that. Sometimes the rain fall in August. So I think what I'm listening to you guys, what you're actually telling us is that we gotta learn to, alright, all of us can't read so good or whatever, but we gotta learn to go with technology. We gotta follow things scientifically if you're gonna be effective in rice farming or livestock or whatever. I think that's what I'm hearing from you all, that we gotta follow these things.
In an effort to overcome the gaps, the assessment has identified the following as recommendations. As the needs of climate information for each sector are different, the advice given should be tailored to each specific sector: cash crop, livestock, rice, and fisheries. Specific advice should also be provided as to how to plan the farming activities which are based on climate information and early warning messages. Information should be more localized to the farmers. This would enhance the confidence of the farmers in the predictions and would provide more accurate information. Information should be readily available and accessible to farmers, thereby allowing each farmer to be fully informed when planning their farming activities.
Being formulated, or when the messaging is being prepared, it has to take into consideration that there are different types of livestock activities that goes on in the communities. There are those persons who are involved in the rearing of livestock. Now, within the livestock rearing community, there are persons who are involved in cattle production. They would be out in the back dam, they would be out in the pasture. Then there are persons who will be involved in pig rearing. Those are done intensively in pens in their backyard, and also poultry. So whatever message we send out, it must be tailored to target specific farmers based on what they're doing. So a message for cattle farmers may be small ruminant, may not be effective for a farmer who is dealing with poultry and pigs. So it is very important that the message be specific, and it must target farmers based on what particular livestock they are rearing and the production system in which these animals are being reared.
What we need is more timely, and this is a key word here, timely provision of climate information. And it's needed, it's required, because in order to take measures to alleviate whatever situation might arise out of any disaster, the the provision of timely information will help.
Some of the findings were that the farmers really needed some of the information from Hydromet, especially with stress related, especially the livestock sector. The drought information, if they could get it a little bit a week before when they will have the El Nino, La Nina situation, that is going to be very helpful for them. Also the flooding information, if they could have it like 3 days or a week before, they would know when it's going to rain and when it's not going to rain. It would be very helpful for them.
There's a poor circulation of information from the Hydromet office to the farmers, so planning is becoming a difficult life for them. Unless we can cross this order, it's only then the farmers will be satisfied and they will be in a very competitive and a happier manner to produce whatever, or to go about the level of production to suit the farming or the family needs.
We need to get more of these officers, these extension officers, to attend these forums and give their recommendations. Perhaps they have certain recommendations that we may not see as yet. So having them together, all of us in the same group, in the same room, we also intend to create working groups within this forum, so that based on their specific agency, they have a chance to request what specific product they want and how or in what language should we communicate this to them, in what concise way, because not necessarily this information could be transmitted from the stakeholders to these extension officers.
To end, two major outcomes arising from the activity. It was recognized by the partner agencies that the extension officers should take a major role in disseminating climate information, and the importance of strengthening collaboration among the key agencies was raised by the representatives who participated in field visits.
I feel that NARI and Hydromet could work together, and Hydromet could filter that information to the extension agents of NARI, and they will filter it down to the farmer. Also, Hydromet should do some necessary internal training with NARI extension staff for them to understand the information that they're being given, and then they will explain it properly to farmers.
One of the things we have discovered is that the majority of the problems are cross-cutting in terms of covering different agencies, and therein lies the need for us to collaborate within the Ministry of Agriculture along with the stakeholders, of course, in addressing these challenges.
My observation is that the message that we prepare, it's not really been filtered down to the real users, the important users. So we plan to work on that, and it was really a good way of getting to them through this project, to get to the actual users, so that we could make possible modification to our products. As we can see that most of them, they are really frustrated, and they show that they are really dependent on us. They have brain drains, they are really frustrated. So it's a way to apply our science to their daily life as well, and hopefully we can be better to convince them.